Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. With summer comes a reminder from the Silver Springs Police Department to lock your vehicle and take your valuables into your residence when parking the vehicle at night. Unlocked vehicles have produced the majority of car burglaries in recent weeks. Summer evenings are conducive to the burglary of unattended vehicles, even when they're parked in the driveway next to the house, according to Jason Ricketson, patrol captain for the Silver Springs Police Department. Ricketson said burglaries are occurring in various parts of the city, and no one area is prone to be victimized more than another. When one sees suspicious activity or suspicious individuals in the neighborhood, Ricketson encourages a call to local law enforcement. He also reminds all that when shopping in Silver Springs or in any other city, always hide valuables, conceal purchases, and lock your vehicles. He says you're only a victim when you leave your car unlocked. Indictments were handed down Monday by a Hopkins County grand jury. Among the indictments was a need to re-indict all the cases from the last grand jury in order to fix a technical issue. Along with the re-indictments were a number of new indictments. In fact, 41 new indictments. Those not sealed include Michael Lyle Gall, age 29, indicted for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. 3 were indicted individually on 1 count of burglary of a habitation and 2 counts of burglary of a building. The 3 were Chase Allen Harrison, Ashley Gale Wade, Lance Allen Warden. They were working together as they victimized the residents. Darian Trey Sims was indicted for burglary of a habitation. Billy Carl Chapman was indicted for 1 charge of attempting to take a weapon from a peace officer and 1 count of burglary of a habitation. Corey Martins Williams was indicted on 1 count of burglary of a habitation and 1 count of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. Patricia Lynn Rogers was indicted for 1 count of theft of property over $2,500 but less than $30,000. Her husband, Ryan Bennett Rogers, was indicted on 1 count of theft of property more than $2,500 but less than $30,000, and 1 count of theft of property over $2,500 2 or more times. Joshua Dwayne Timmons indicted for arson. Anthony Bernard Sanders indicted for theft of property 2 or more times. Alyssa Rochelle Romo was indicted for abandonment endangering a child. Karen Catherine Locke was indicted for assault of a public servant. Jacob Randall Lively was indicted for theft of property under $2,500 2 or more times. James Edward Kaiser Jr. indicted for forgery of a financial instrument. Katie Rianne Young indicted for debit card abuse. Jose Gonzalez Ramirez indicted for fraudulent use and possession of identifying information. Indicted for possession of a controlled substance more than 4 grams but less than 200 grams was Christopher Paul Starrett and Edward Isaac Ruschenberg. They were indicted individually as well. Amanda Newman Smith also was indicted for manufacture and delivery of a controlled substance more than 1 gram, less than 4 grams. Indicted for 1 count of manufacturing and delivery of a controlled substance was Joe Perez Jr., and indicted individually on 1 count each for possession of controlled substance less than 1 gram, Noah Drake Eaton, Stacy Lynn Rawls Burkham, and Paris Javon Murray.
On today's KSST Morning Show, we met 3 of the 8 Dairy Festival contestants. The girls have a very busy week leading up to Saturday's pageant or coronation. Let's meet Lauren, Alexis, and Sadie.
Okay. Lauren, tell us just a little bit about yourself, if you would.
Well, my name is Lauren Hill. I've grown up in Sulphur Springs my whole life. I'm involved in Lady Cat soccer and Lady Cat cross country. I'm in Key Club. I go to First Baptist Church, and I'm involved in the youth group there. And that's about it.
Tell me, how did you do on the milking?
I got 2nd place. Me and Emma Boyette had the same amount of milk in our buckets, so we had to do like a what do they call it? Like
It was sort of a milk off.
yeah,
or something.
milk off for a minute, and so.
Well, to do this milk off, did you go back to the same cow you used?
Well, we got to pick which cow we wanted, so I went back to the same one.
Because she did pretty well for
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Okay. Well, showing just how deep the milk was in your bucket. Just show me.
This deep.
About 1.5 inches or so. Okay. Now, I know that Sadie did get the most amount of milk.
Yes,
Is that right?
ma'am.
So how deep was it in the bucket?
Oh, goodness. When I looked at Lauren's, I was like, we're the same. There's no way. Like, I have no idea who's going to win here. So maybe, I guess, just a little bit above that.
And I guess they do that by weight anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, wonderful. We're off to a good start with 3 contestants this morning, and we're going to talk a little bit more. I'm going to ask Alexis, since we're just kind of going down the row here, Alexis, to just close to that mic there, just tell us about just some stuff about yourself.
I go to the Way Bible Church. I'm not really involved with school except for National Honor Society. I go to dance
Okay.
pretty much like 2 or 3 days a week. I've been doing that for a long time.
And dance is going to be your talent.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about the selection you've made.
I chose lyrical because it is something I feel like I'm best at. I like how you show more emotion into lyrical than anything.
More expressive. But you've been schooled in all the normal ways of dance.
Yes, ma'am.
What was the theme of your float?
Disco.
Disco, okay. And so tell me, who is your dance teacher?
Miss Kristen Lewis,
At what studio?
Artist Center of Performing Arts.
Okay, and have you been going there very long?
I've been going there about 14 years.
Okay, all right. So since you were just big enough to start classes.
Yes.
Well, and you plan to go into healthcare
Yes.
after school, and once you've gone through schooling, and in particular nursing.
Yes. I want to be an RN, a registered nurse, and I would like to work in a hospital with teens who have cancer.
Any particular reason you're kind of focusing in that area?
Not necessarily. I've always wanted to.
Okay. I think you did mention that there was someone close to you and your family that did pass away.
Yes, Micah Reed.
Okay. And your mother happens to be an RN.
Yes, ma'am, she is.
Where does she work?
She works for Angels of Care. She usually works out of town.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you for your information this morning. We'll be coming back to you, Alexis, and let's talk to Sadie. Sadie, I'm just going to say, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm Sadie Evans. I go to Sulphur Springs High School, and I'm the student body vice president. I'm the parliamentarian of our class. I'm in National Honor Society, Key Club, FCCLA. Sorry, I'm forgetting
Well,
stuff.
I'm going to put in some things. Top 10% of your class.
Yes, ma'am. Top
I
10%.
know you're very proud about that.
And
Dare to Dream?
Yes, ma'am. I'm the little anchor for the videos of Dare to Dream.
Okay.
And then I'm very involved in music stuff.
Okay. In fact, that may lead you to your career in life.
Fingers crossed. Yes, ma'am.
And we'll talk about that, but let's start from the focus of Dairy Festival. I mean, it's so close. How long have you been, desiring to be a contestant?
Well, I guess I've always thought, Dairy Festival, because my family has such a history in the dairy industry. But I think it was Molly Millsap's year that I went and watched it, and I was like, oh my goodness, I have to do this. So it's been a few years.
And that wasn't too long ago, and Molly's gone on to do some very interesting things in her
Yes,
life
ma'am.
as well. Well, let's talk about your your talent for the pageant night?
So I'll be performing No Good Deed, which is a song from Wicked, which it's a very powerful song, and it shows such agony and such a beautiful story. So I have a little monologue beforehand so people understand what's been going on in the scene prior to this song.
Okay. And tell us just a teeny bit about the play Wicked.
So it's basically the story of Oz before Dorothy came. So the Wicked Witch is the main character, and it tells the story of how she became the Wicked Witch and that she's really not wicked.
Okay. Good. Wonderful. I haven't got to see it, but I do hope that I will. So you've been training your voice, going to vocal training.
Yes,
Tell us
ma'am.
about that.
So I started out with Shining Star Productions, and oh my goodness, it was amazing. Such amazing experiences. And then now I'm working in Dallas with a really amazing company, or group, I guess. And so I've been there for the past 2 years.
Okay. So also, and you mentioned Shining Star Productions, and you were, who was it that you were in Peter Pan?
Peter Pan.
Oh, that's right. And other roles that you got to sing, dance, and speak.
Yes, ma'am. There's, oh my goodness, so many. One of my favorites was Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz.
But Peter Pan was the only one in which you got to fly.
Yes, that was absolutely amazing.
Pretty much over the top. Well, tell us about your family.
So my parents are Jason and Angie Evans, and then my grandparents have Roger and Rita Wright and Pam and Donnie Evans. And then in town, I have the Hintons, and they have their dairies, and so we're very involved in that. We have, I believe, 4 generations of dairy.
No wonder you won the milking contest. And what about that large cow that everybody sees?
Yes, ma'am. The Holstein cow in front of the Dairy Museum was donated by my great-grandmother, Dorothy Hinton, in honor of my great-grandpa, Wayne Hinton.
Okay. Well, next time we see that, I know that can't help but cross our mind. Well, I know there's a whole bunch more to ask you, and where you want to go to school. That's what I want to ask is, after high school, what are your plans?
I really want to pursue music as far as I can, so I'm planning on going up to Nashville and going to Belmont University.
Wonderful. Please keep us posted.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're going to move back down to Lauren, if that's all right.
Okay.
And you mentioned just briefly some things you do, like running, playing soccer, and stuff like that. Tell me more that you've done. Maybe, did you mention mission trips?
Yes, ma'am. I go on a mission trip every year to Austin with my youth group at church. And then this year I will be going, it's not with my youth group, but with like a different group, to Costa Rica in August.
And your church is?
First Baptist Church.
Okay. So you're going to Austin and Costa Rica. What about after, let's say, after Dairy Festival and after you get out of high school, what do you plan to do?
I would like to go to college to either become a children's counselor or to work with special needs kids. Okay. I'm not really sure what yet.
Any particular reason you choose that?
Growing up, I always had a heart for kids that couldn't do everything that I could do. I felt compassion towards them, and I wanted to help them out as much as I could. And this past year, I've actually gone into the special needs class in my school and helped out, and it's really something that I just love to do. So that's why.
Okay. And I think also you like fashion. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
I think your mom works in fashion. Is
She
that
does.
right? Please tell us about that.
She works at Lou Nell's in town, and so she's always taught me how to match my clothes, how to look good in front of other people, I guess.
Okay. And your parents are Jonas and Melanie Helm.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have some farming and ranching in your background.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, tell us about that.
Well, my grandpa is Ronnie Glossop, and he had a dairy. My mom has told me many stories about that. And then my dad owns a ranch, so I've always been around cows.
Okay. And let's talk about your talent on pageant night.
For my talent, I will be doing a Revelation song in sign language. It was really interesting, learning how to do the motions and how you have to use your face, your facial expressions to express yourself in the song. It's just been really interesting, learning how to do all that and putting it together.
I'll have to see that. It does sound fascinating. Well, we're going to wish each of you a lot of good luck. Now, Lauren, you are contestant number
2.
Okay, and all the way through pageant night, you'll be having that same number, and so we'll go ahead and kind of fix that in our minds. And Alexis, you are contestant number
3.
Okay, contestant number 3 in the lineup, and there are 8 young ladies.
Yes.
And see, you're the only one this morning that wore your Hopkins County Dairy Festival T-shirt. Thank you for that. And let's talk a little bit about something that's very important when you become a contestant and involved in Dairy Festival, and that is sponsor. Who are your sponsor or sponsors?
Carriage House Manor and the Cottages and Dairy Mix.
Okay, and these are very important people, and they'll be wanting to meet you if you haven't already met them as you go along through this. Saturday night's going to be a big night. Do you feel like you're completely ready and not even sweating this at all? Or?
Yeah, I'm completely ready.
Okay. Sounds good. And you're going to make a beautiful contestant on stage. It's going to be very, very memorable. I'm going to ask Sadie, your contestant
Number 1.
Okay. And talk to us about your sponsors.
My sponsors are Dell Study Club and Askins Propane Company.
All right. And did I ask you, Lauren, for
No,
your
ma'am.
sponsor?
Our sponsors are Mother's Culture Club and Sulphur Springs Dodge.
Okay. Do you have Dairy Festival queen in your family background or contestant?
I'm trying to think. I know
Okay.
my mom was on the Dairy Festival board for 10 years. And then whenever I was little, me and my sister both did like the little kid pageant part, and so did my dad. So it's kind of in my blood. I
Yes,
guess.
it is. So when did you decide you were going to do this in this year of your high school?
Whenever I was little, whenever my mom was on the board, I always had to go. They used to have to make like the staircase and everything that's on the stage, and so I always had to go and just sit and watch.
Okay.
And so then we would also go to the pageants, and so I guess that's when I decided that I wanted to be in Dairy Festival whenever I got older.
Okay. And what about you, Alexis? Do you know of a time that you decided you're going to do this?
I guess when my dance teacher brought it up, I decided to. But I don't really have a background in it or anything.
Okay. Well, there are 8 contestants, and all from one school, is that right?
Yes.
Sulphur Springs High School. Do you all know each other, or did your paths not really come together that much?
I think we knew of each other. We didn't necessarily know each other.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Okay. Well, it's been delightful meeting you, and I wish we had more time. We could just go on and on, I'm sure, about things that have impressed you about Dairy Festival, whether it be from, of course, the pageantry of being on stage with all the lights and the beautiful clothes and all that, to float building. If you tell me, like in one sentence, was your float easy, hard, memorable?
Very memorable.
What about you, Alexis?
It was a little bit challenging.
Okay.
I'd say very stressful.
Yes.
All right. You glad it's over?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good. Well, our interview time is over as well, but I will be seeing you on Saturday night.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
for having us.
Thank you, too.
Here's Don with sports.
Former Wildcat distance runner and soccer player Ross Hicks had a goal of becoming a cross-country coach. Well, last week he was officially hired to be the head coach in Sulphur Springs. He admits everything fell into place and his dream job fell into his lap. It happened sooner than he expected. Hicks said he went to college to become a cross-country coach. He ran track and cross-country at Texas A&M Commerce. After being named, Hicks says he started running with members of his new team. He says it's important for runners to get what he calls base mileage during the summer in preparation for the fall cross-country season. Like Andy Holt, the coach he will be replacing, Hicks says he will run with his team members. He says that way he can talk with the athletes and coach them on the run. Coach Hicks says this fall's team has an interesting mix of young freshmen and sophomores, along with veteran junior and senior runners. Hicks will also be the assistant soccer coach to former assistant Nikki Wiggins, now the head soccer coach. Hicks developed soccer at the middle school in his year coaching there. He wants to see that continue, and he also wants to develop a middle school cross-country program.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.